Welcome or welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Kristen, and today I have 12 brand new knitting patterns to share with you for summer. All of these patterns are from smaller designers. So we love our Sari Nordlund and our Hutavakika, etc. Not today. Today we are looking at some smaller designers. Again, all of these patterns are brand new, so they have just been published in 2026, and all of them are very much summer. So short sleeves or no sleeves, and cotton, linen, silk as the recommended yarn, or blend as the recommended yarn. So no sweaters, no 100% wool, very much summer. I will also be doing a giveaway, so stick around till the end when I announce that. It has been 90 degrees here all week. I'm not ready for this yet, but it certainly has put me in the summer mindset. And all of these projects, again, because they're short sleeves or sleeveless, they're going to work up pretty quickly. And if you cast them on now, you will be able to wear them in July and August when it is supposed to be like 94 degrees like it is today. Before we get started, what I'm wearing today is my Orilla top. This is a pattern by me. It looks like this. And it is also a nice summery top. It has shoulder ties that are adjustable. The front tie runs through this casing here so that you can kind of like shrink it in or stretch it out as you might like. All right, let's jump in. All of these patterns are included in the bundle in the description box, and there are a few extras in there as well, but I'll be talking about 12 patterns today. Let's kick things off with Halai. This is a pattern by Esti Wango, and it is so open, lots of eyelets, so breezy, perfect for summer. So this is available on Ravelry for about $9.85. It is available in both English and Spanish, and the recommended yarn for this one is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. I think this is adorable. It looks so comfortable. Let's see what we can find out about this pattern. It is available in 9 sizes with a finished bust circumference from 32 3/4 inch up to 64 1/4 inch with a positive ease recommendation of 4 to 6 inches. You need to be able to knit, purl, increase, and decrease. There are some video tutorials included, and there are charts as well as written instructions. So I just love this. I don't have any yarn in my stash for this, unfortunately. Otherwise, I may have already cast this on because I think it is so cute. So I don't really know much about this designer. There are 25 projects on Ravelry, so it seems like she had this test knit, which is definitely good. She does have over 70 designs on Ravelry, so she is definitely an experienced designer, but I definitely haven't heard of her before myself, and that's a shame because a lot of this stuff is really cute. But this one in particular, Halai, it says, it is born from calm and grace with a spirit that conveys serenity and quiet joy. So this one is worked from the top down, starting at the back neck. It looks like there is not a ton of finishing, so it looks like the neck line has a pickup and a finish, but the armholes have a contiguous I-cord as you knit, so no finishing trim there, which is always nice. I really love this one. As I said, 25 projects, so you can see everyone's experience with this, but it has, it's well rated, and that's always nice. And I know Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, some people love it, some people hate it. I have worked with it. I think it's fine, but certainly you could sub another fingering weight cotton, linen, silk blend in here as well. So that one, again, Halai by Esti Wango. Next up, we have the Willow top by loveknit.nl. Netherlands? I don't know. So the Willow top is available on Ravelry for $8.26 or 680 euros. And the recommended yarn here is Sandsgarn Lena. So we do have a heavier summer yarn, but a summer yarn nonetheless. Personally, here it is really too hot in the midsummer for even a DK weight cotton blend. But obviously, depending on where you live, you have a different experience. So this one was published in March 2026. There are 15 projects, so you can take a peek through here. I love this textured pattern. Obviously, it's called the Willow top. It looks like branches or willow trees, perhaps. It says an elegant summer knit, perfect for warm days and relaxed knitting. Now, this one is knit from the bottom up, which makes getting your lengths correct a little more difficult, but it is, in terms of the difficulty of the knitting, definitely find it much easier to just cast on and work in the round. Neckline and armholes are picked up after and finished then. So to fit chest circumferences from 28 to 30 inches up to 48 to 50 inches. So we don't have as many sizes here as perhaps are ideal. We also don't have a finished bust circumference, at least on the main pattern page. I don't know what is available in the pattern itself because I haven't bought it. And it says it's designed for a fitted silhouette with the ease built in. So in terms of choosing your size, you may need a little bit more information. So again, the recommended yarn is Santa's Garden Lina, which is a worsted, or the Drops Bell, which I've heard is a pretty good substitute for the Lina, and that is actually a DK weight. And you can look at the 15 projects that are here to get an idea of other yarns people may have used and how it fits. Really love this one. It looks like that stitch pattern is going to be pretty easy to memorize, which I am always a fan of, especially in the summer. I want to go, well, not when it's 95 degrees, but when it's a pleasant like 82 degrees, I want to go sit outside and knit, and I don't want to have to be futzing around with a chart or a pattern or anything. I just want to sit and knit. So it looks like this is a good option for that. So again, that one, the Willow top. Next one, we have one that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. I'm just going to put the name on the screen. Not a clue. But this is a pattern by Natalie Bergerson. This was published last month, April 2026. This is available on Ravelry for $8.34 or about $11 Canadian. So this uses a DK weight yarn that is a alpaca silk linen blend. So we have a little bit of animal fiber, but we definitely have those lighter fibers that are going to give it a little bit more breathability. It says whatever that name is takes its name from Timothy grass, a perennial forage grass that is deeply rooted in the landscapes of Quebec and across North America. It is a lightweight, airy t-shirt designed to be both enjoyable to knit and comfortable to wear, which we always like. So let's see what we can tell you about it. The pattern includes 9 sizes. The measurement listed is the total finished bust circumference. So, and that goes from 35 up to 55 inches. And the recommended ease is 1 to 4 inches of positive ease. So again, could go a little further at the far end of the range, but we still have a decent number of sizes in here. It looks like it's a 2 to 3 inch grade between sizes. So it has this lovely textured yoke. It is available in both English and French. Doesn't give us a lot of information about the actual construction of the garment. It does say in the tags that it is worked top down. You would think so with the circular yoke shaping that it looks like it has. So again, this looks like, especially with the body and sleeves, mostly done in stockinette, this is going to be a pretty straightforward knit. And even the yoke design looks relatively easy to memorize. So with the eyelets and what's the gauge on this? 18.5 stitches over 4 inches, which on a DK weight is going to be a little bit breezy as well. So this should be a nice, comfortable knit, except for perhaps the very hottest part of the year. So there are 12 projects here you can take a look at if you want to see perhaps some of the yarn options and how it looks on different folks. The recommended yarn is L'Exquise, which is from De Mail en Bas, which I guess is a French or perhaps French-Canadian brand, but some kind of DK-ish weight plant fiber blend is going to be a good choice for this one. Again, I'm not going to try to pronounce this name, but this is a lovely, comfortable t-shirt for the summer. This is probably the most well-known designer in our list. This is a pattern from Julie Hoover called the Docite Vest. I absolutely love this, love this. Now, Julie Hoover used to be a little bit more prolific and well known, and then she kind of fell off a little bit, and now she's having a little bit of a resurgence. So I decided it would be okay to include her in here. She's certainly a very experienced designer, but probably not a name that pops into your head when you're thinking of the most popular designers. But she's has a lot of beautiful stuff. Let me see, actually. She has over 150 designs on Ravelry. So the Docite vest is available on Ravelry for $10. This is knit in Morning by Pearl Soho, which is a 75 cotton, 25 yak DK weight yarn. It says columns of fisherman's rib and eyelet lace run the length of this vest, which is obviously in this photo being more and more as a sleeveless top. You could certainly layer it as a vest perhaps in the cooler months. Sleeveless, crew-necked, slightly cropped. That's not really what I'm getting from the photo, but perhaps on a different bodies it will look different. It is worked flat in pieces from the bottom up and then sewn together. And you can either work from written directions or charts. I am a big chart fan myself. So sizes 32.5 to 68.25 finished chest and hip circumference. So that's a nice size range there. So as I said, perhaps you could, layer this in the cooler months, but I absolutely love this as a sleeveless top for the summer with all the eyelets. It looks very breezy. I love fisherman's rib. It looks like it's got a nice folded collar. I'm sorry, I've lost the sun. So now the ring light is just blowing out my skin. All right, so there are not a lot of projects on here that you can look through. This was just published this month, so I don't know what the test knitting situation was, but obviously people haven't had a lot of time to knit this yet. However, as I said, Julie Hoover's very experienced, so personally, I wouldn't let that deter you. Absolutely love this. She even gives you some really good information about checking for gauge when you are working with a plant-based yarn, which is, you're going to knit your swatch, you're going to pin it out. Once it's dry, you're going to unpin it, but then you should let it rest a little bit because it will tend to shrink back up. And you want to give it some time to do that before you actually check your gauge. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a garment that shrinks back up. So again, Docite vest, Julie Hoover. Love this one for summer. All right, next up, we have another pattern that was just published this month by Charlotte Tongue, and that is the Floral top. This one is knit in a lace weight yarn. So the recommended yarn is Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk, which is an alpaca silk blend. The pattern page says the recommended yarn is a lace weight, but the about this yarn says that yarn is a worsted. I don't know what the deal with that is, but I think the idea is you get a kind of fluffy lace weight-ish yarn that probably blooms a lot after you block it, that causes it to, fluff up and kind of take up more space. This pattern is available for $7 on Ravelry. There are 16 projects that you can take a peek at on here, and I just love like this light, airy lace weight. It's definitely, if you're using kind of the lace weight yarn, it is definitely a sort of translucent garment and just looks really comfortable for summer, even though it has longer sleeves. So I'm thinking cooler evenings. There is a short sleeve version as well. Beach cover up, really depending on ultimately what yarn you decide to use. So let's see. Floral top is a romantic, airy lace garment inspired by the delicate bloom of spring flowers. Well, with the name like floral top, that makes sense. A rhythmic lace motif accented with twisted stitches. 2 sleeve options, a straight sleeve or a slight puff sleeve. Top-down construction, customizable sleeves, inclusive sizing. Now, it says inclusive sizing. However, it's only available in 5 sizes. So your mileage may vary. Sizes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finished bust circumferences are given in centimeters. Again, I don't understand centimeters because I am a gringo. It's from 99 to 147 centimeters, and I will put the imperial measurement here on the screen so you can take a peek at that. Suggested yarn is a lace weight mohair, held double or single. And it looks like you will need to know how to increase, do German short rows, and an I-cord bind off. And the pattern is available in English and Chinese. Absolutely love this. Looks so airy and romantic. Definitely have a few projects on here to look through that you can get a feel for this in different kinds of yarn, and also how it looks with different sleeve options, and whether you're holding that lace weight yarn single or double, because it's obviously, you know, if you're working at the same gauge, but double versus single, one's going to be a much more airy and transparent fabric. So again, that one, floral top. All right, moving on to pattern number 6. We have the Vestna Tee. This is a pattern by Ksenia Nadyan. I'm so sorry. Also known as Life is Cozy, apparently. So while I have not heard of this designer before, she does have 136 designs on Ravelry, and this is one of them. This is so adorable. So this is available for $8.50 on Ravelry. It just, I don't know, it just has a really summery vibe. A lot of the open work stitches, the fact that it's kind of combining colors, it's worked from side to side, it's very playful, so it just really says summer to me. So the recommended yarns are a merino silk fingering. So you have some wool, but then you've got silk as well. I was going to lighten that up a little bit. And a fluff yarn, which is a Surrey Silk Stellina from Peninsula Yarn, Rainbow Surrey Fluff. This was published in March 2026. So it says the tee is knit sideways. It can be worked in any number of colors. Vertical stripes, lots of lace, built-in I-cord finishes, comfortably shaped shoulders, a boat neck, and a simple straight silhouette. Perfect spring summer project. And it includes 13 finished bust circumferences. Recommended 2 to 4 inches of ease, and the finished circumference goes from 34.5 inches up to 64.25 inches. And there are also several different lengths. So since we're knitting side to side, presumably your desired length is going to determine how many stitches you cast on. That's going to determine the length. Love this. Top is worked flat in 2 pieces. That makes sense since we're working from side to side. Each piece starts from a provisional cast on and is knit sideways. Increases and decreases shape the shoulder and boat neck. 5 stitch patterns from stockinette to lace. And all patterns are worked with a built-in I-cord edge, so you're not going to have a bunch of finishing work. So overall, I just think this looks so playful and summery. There are 31 projects on Ravelry you can look through, and they are equally adorable, really cute ones on here. Love this for summer. Love that you've got an opportunity to play with both color and the stitch patterns. It just looks like overall a really fun project. So again, that one is the Vestna Tee. Now, next one I put on here for you guys, because this is not really my style, but I've been seeing a lot of designs featuring this element. And of all of them, I really like this one the best, and that is the Nuit Top by Columbine Louisa. This pattern is available for €7. Looks like you do have to buy it directly from her website, though, not on Ravelry. And as you can see, this features that diagonal kind of opening that I've been seeing on cardigans and other tops. There's the clematis, there's maybe a couple of other ones. Personally, I think as a cardigan opening, it's really impractical. But on this, as sort of just a detail, I think it looks pretty cute. Still not, you know, my personal style, but I do think it looks cute, and probably is going to give you a lot fewer fit issues than if you were trying to have it run all the way across the body and be a cardigan closure. So the Nuit Top is a fitted top worked seamlessly from the top down, featuring an asymmetric neckline with buttons. The back is worked flat and shaped using German short rows. Stitches are then picked up from the shoulders. Subtle waist shaping. Hem is finished with a folded edge, which is going to really give you a neat, tidy finish, whereas the armholes, it looks like are kind of unfinished. It is designed to have 5 centimeters or 7.75 inches negative ease, and designed to fit a bust circumference from 28 up to 50 inches. Not a huge size range on this. really seems like a top that is more designed for smaller bodies. And, you know, some designers just choose to do things that way. The recommended yarn is Drops Cotton Merino. So it's a 50-50 cotton merino. You can probably sub in, I would maybe avoid a 100% plant fiber, but you could probably choose something with a little bit less wool content and a little bit more cotton to make it extra summery. So there are 14 projects on here that you can take a look at. And to me, they just look like they fit better and drape better than the cardigans that have the whole front diagonal opening. So she does have a nice list of all of the techniques you need to know. But you know, German short rows, picking up stitches, increases, decreases, pretty standard stuff here. So if you have been interested in those kind of diagonal bias opening cardigans, maybe this one is going to be on your list. So again, that is the Nui top. All right, next up we have the Matilda top. This is actually a pattern produced by, I don't know how it's pronounced. Is it Mayo Garn? Majo Garn? That doesn't sound right. So I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but the yarn company, and that is worked up in their Sunny Linen, which is a sport weight linen, alpaca, cotton, merino blend. So it is a clean, modern summer piece, sleeveless shape, softly rounded square neckline, vertical lace panel at the front center. This is available for €5 or $6.08 on Ravelry, and is available in 3 languages: English, French, and German. So this one is sized from extra small to 3XL. I do think in the pattern photos, the front neck looks a little wobbly, but I also feel like that is something you can probably fix on your own by picking up fewer stitches at the center front neck. There are only 2 projects on here, and they were both knit by French speakers, so I don't know what they say. And I mean, I could probably puzzle through it a little bit, but we don't have time for that today. But yarn companies, you know, do tend to produce patterns and have experience with that. So the lack of projects, again, for a pattern that was literally just published this month, not too much of a concern. This is worked from the top down, back yoke, worked flat, increases to the armholes, etc., etc. And then it has this lovely sort of open lace patterning down the center that looks beautiful. I haven't tried this yarn. I've been seeing a lot of their yarns around, and I'm really interested in trying them. I don't know anybody locally or even online in the US that carries them, but hopefully I'll get to try them at some point. So extra small to 3XL. The finished bust circumference goes from 30 3/4 to 46 3/4 inches. So there's a pretty small grade in between sizes. 46 3/4 inches is not a 3XL. Not the size range we would hope, but not everybody has gotten on board with the size inclusivity yet. So that is unfortunate. But if this size range works for you, this might be a nice choice for you. So if you can't get your hands on the Sunny Linen, there are a lot of companies producing sport weight, and fingering weight might be an okay substitute. It really sometimes just depends on the yarn. Nice yarns for summer. So again, that one is the Matilda top, light and breezy for summer in a nice linen yarn. All right, next up we have the Long Island Iced Tea by Jennifer Shields Tolan. This pattern is available for $8 on Ravelry, and it just features a really cute lace detail sleeve, and the t-shirt in general has raglan lines. And the recommended yarn for this one is Fleece and Flax from Sonder. So that's a BFL linen blend. It says it was published in June 2026. Got some time travelers here. Did I say it was $8 on Ravelry? It's $8 on Ravelry. I thought maybe it was like a pre-order, but it says it's here, so I don't know. June 2026. We're almost there. It is a lightweight, effortlessly chic, semi-cropped top-down tee, elegant cap sleeves, compound raglan shaping featuring the riptide stitch pattern, which is echoed in the delicate hem, keeping the tee light and airy. We have a finished bust circumference from 33.5 up to 61.25, so a nice healthy size range there. 2 to 4 inches of positive ease are recommended. Worked in one piece in the round from the top down. German short rows to shape the neck. I think we all know these, how the constructions generally work. And there are charts as well as written instructions. So this looks like a nice, comfortable, breezy tee. It is sort of a wool linen blend. You might, again, maybe not substitute a 100% plant-based, but something like this, which is the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, which is more cotton than merino, but is still giving you a lot of the good qualities of the wool, might be a nice choice because the recommended yarn is a fingering weight. So there are 86 projects on here. So I guess she had a whole lot of test knitters. It seems like most of these were finished in April 2026. Overall, this just looks really comfortable, and you've got the nice lacy sleeves, which you got a lot of stockinette. Knit at a relatively loose gauge for a fingering weight, so 23 stitches over 4 inches, and top down, stockinette in the round. Love that. That's going to work up pretty quickly. So again, Long Island iced tea. All right, we're down to our last 3 patterns. So the first of these is Strandlive by Solston Design. This was published in April 2026. I will say, not a lot of projects on here, but it just looks so cute. It looks like the just breeziest, most comfortable t-shirt. This is available on Ravelry for $6.68 or 60, whatever SEK is. Something about Sweden, because it's available in both English and Swedish. Now, there are not a lot of sizes for this, but as you can see, it is just a very big, drapey, oversized t-shirt. So one size is going to fit a number of different bodies. So the chest circumference, approximately 100 to 122 centimeters. Again, I don't know what that is. Here's what it is. And the recommended yarn is Sanis Garn Lina, which again is a worsted weight cotton rayon linen blend. Says a light, airy, oversized t-shirt knitted bottom up in 2 separate pieces. I-cord tie at the back. V neckline is the finishing touch. And that really just gives it a really nice look. It's got these dotted with these eyelets that are going to make it breezy. You've got this kind of big open neck, but you've got that I-cord in the back that's going to keep it from like falling off your shoulders. So it's still really nice and drapey. It just looks so comfortable. So again, this was just published in April. Not a lot of information available about it, but if you're looking for just a big, comfortable t-shirt, mostly stockinette, definitely a boxy, drapey shape, this might be a good choice for you. Again, that one is Strandlive by Solston Design. All right, next up we have the Mediterraneo top by Knit and Spritz. This is available on Ravelry for $10.94 or €9. And this is a nice stripy sleeveless tee for summer. It's a seamless top-down summer top featuring clean horizontal stripes, minimal lines, and an effortless Mediterranean feel. It is worked in a light fingering weight cotton linen blend, which is the Tin Lena from Sanis Garn, and it is sized from 33.75 inches up to 57 inches. However, it doesn't say the recommended ease. Oh, it has top-down construction, worked both flat and in the round, German short rows. The rib trim is a broken rib. There are 2 stripe construction options included. There are side slits at the hem, and video tutorials are included. So if you are a stripes person, and of course, this shows kind of larger, blockier stripes, you can do whatever you want with your own knit garments. This looks like something just comfy, casual to throw on in the summer, and I do love the detail along the side body. There are 12 projects here on Ravelry that you can check out. See some other yarns, but they all look just very comfortable and very summery and breezy. So again, Tin Lena is the recommended yarn. That's a fingering weight. There are lots of nice fingering weight summer fibers available these days. Should be relatively easy to substitute that. Love that. Just looks super comfortable. I'm not familiar with Knit and Spritz. She does have a fair number of 27 designs here on Ravelry. A brand new pattern, but not like a fresh brand new designer. She does have some experience with 27 designs already available, and this was just published this month. So the projects shown are presumably the test knitter projects, and they're going to, be able to give you a lot of feedback on the experience and on the quality of the pattern. So again, that is the Mediterraneo top by Knit and Spritz. All right, our last one. Again, I'm talking about 12 patterns, but there are a few more in the bundle. One of them I love, but it's only available in Finnish, but I put it in there in case you speak Finnish. All right, this one is the Francisca Tee by Beagle Knits. This is available for $9.72 on Ravelry or €8. It is available in English, Italian, and Spanish. And this is just a lovely eyelet detail, breezy, boxy t-shirt for the summer. So the recommended yarn is Linnea, which is an alpaca silk linen fingering weight. Again, lots of other good fingering weights out there that may blend more or less animal fiber in there. Animal fiber is going to give you a little bit more drape and memory, but if you choose something with a pretty low animal fiber, like I just did my Stromboli in the Elamani Sabri 1, which is a fingering weight that just has a little bit of alpaca in it to give it that extra drape and a little bit more softness and flexibility, but still very breathable and summery. The Francisca Tee is a boxy style t-shirt with a simple but effective cable and lace pattern that gives it a special touch. It's finished at the hem with a cabled rib pattern, twisted rib at the neckline, and the armhole edgings are worked at the same time as the front and back, so no extra finishing there. It is worked top down. Pattern includes 9 sizes. Again, everything given in centimeters. 105 to 185 centimeters it looks like the finished bust circumference. It looks like you need to know how to do a provisional cast on, cables, decreases, increases, pretty basic stuff. It looks like this is a republication of a pattern they originally had published with Lina magazine. Whether or not there are any differences with that pattern, I do not know. But it does look to be the same pattern, and there are 13 of those if you want to check that out. That was published by Lina in May 2025, but this version, whatever the differences may be, was just published this month in 2026. Again, seems to be a republishing. Perhaps some minor details have been changed. Not sure exactly, but it is absolutely adorable. It looks really comfortable. A lot of really good information on the pattern page in all of the languages if you need that information. So that one again, Francisca Tee by Beagle Knits. All right, friends, there you have it. 12 brand new summery patterns from some smaller independent designers that are perfect to cast on now and have ready by the midsummer when it's really starting to get hot and we need some light breezy tops. Now, as I promised at the beginning of this video, I am offering up a giveaway for this one. So I'm going to pick 3 winners who leave a comment telling me which of these patterns is their favorite, and then I will gift them the pattern that they have chosen. So that's all you got to do. Leave a comment, tell me which one of these patterns was your favorite for a chance to win it. I will be announcing the winner of this giveaway in 2 weeks, so that is the June 6th video. Saturday, June 6th, that video, whatever it's going to be about, I'm not sure yet. That is when I will be announcing the winners. So be sure to tune in to that episode to find out if you have won. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you enjoyed it or took something from it, I hope that you will give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. New knitting videos here every Saturday. Next week's video, May 30th, will be the monthly podcast episode, catching you up on all of my whips and finished objects for the month of May. So don't miss that. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Midi Peruana, and I will see you soon in another video. I did the hair mask. I did the leave-in conditioner. I can't do this for the next 4 months. I really can't.